Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not the type of brother to play with. See a lot of people acting like, oh yeah. All ball players sounding like haters. We the young kings of this generation, oh yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Pitch side with Parker. New look pitch side with Parker, okay? Have y'all seen it? Have y'all checked out the channel? It looks good, man. So shout out to Haley Pollard, good friend of mine and somebody who really helped me with the design and the new logo and the new header on my channel and everything. She did some awesome work on that, so thank you to her. If y'all need graphic design stuff, hit her up for real. She did a great job. But yeah, man, I'm just excited. We got the giveaway coming up soon as well. We're almost to 40 subscribers as I'm recording this. Maybe we'll be a little over that by the time you're watching it. But what I need y'all to do is go ahead and follow me on Twitter, because I'm gonna give more details out about the giveaway, and I'll give you a hint right now that part of it will be on Twitter. So you should make sure that you're following me if you want to be a part of that. And in the next video, there will be details about the giveaway, but again, not something you want to miss. So go ahead and subscribe, and if you want to get to 50 quicker, share this video with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Turn on the post notifications, all those things, liking the video as well. All those things are going to help us get to 50 faster. Basically, what I want to do today is just talk about the stuff that we have coming up this weekend, because it is a big weekend of soccer. Sunday specifically, we got the final day of Premier League kicking off at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then we got the NWSL Challenge Cup final at 12:30. So let this serve as your primer for Sunday. You know, be here with me for a couple minutes. Let's chat about the games before they get started, and hopefully, you know, this can give you some things to watch for, help you get a little bit excited, and just kind of, you know, be a nice little Saturday or Sunday morning treat for you as you prepare for this awesome day of soccer that we have ahead. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start with the NWSL. It's hard to believe that we have already reached the final of the Challenge Cup. It seems like it's gone so fast, but there really have been a ton of games, and it's all led up to the Houston Dash versus Chicago Red Stars in a showdown at Rio Tinto Stadium in the final. If you've been watching the videos, you'll know a couple videos back, I told y'all that Houston Dash is my new favorite team. I've been rooting for them throughout, and that is definitely who I'm rooting for here in the final. But it should be a really good matchup. It's an interesting duality between these two teams. You have the experience of Chicago Red Stars versus the newcomers, relatively speaking, with Houston Dash, who hadn't made the playoffs in the NWSL until this Challenge Cup, and neither of these teams has actually ever won an NWSL trophy in its current form, although Chicago has a much better history. So it's kind of a favorite versus an underdog, you know, an experienced team versus newcomers, but both teams that are fighting for an unprecedented trophy in their trophy cabinet. And I think that's the best you could expect from a final, really, because, you know, if it was North Carolina Courage in the final and they've already won this a few times, obviously nobody's won the Challenge Cup, but they've won the NWSL recently, and maybe it's not quite as exciting if it's the old guard, if it's Portland Thorns, you know, like it doesn't quite feel the same as getting these new teams in there. So I'm excited about the matchup. I think it should play out very interesting tactically as well, because Houston Dash, their strategy in pretty much every game has been to just absorb the pressure and hit you on the counter. They don't want to have the ball. I think their pass completion has been like 50% in their knockout games. They don't care. If they're winning, they're winning. And they are best when they're on the counter. They're best when they can expose the speed of their attackers and the press, all led by Rachel Daly. She has got to be my favorite player that I've watched in the Challenge Cup. I mean, there's been a lot of great talent on display, don't get me wrong, but every time she plays for Houston Dash, you just can't help but love her. So much tenacity, like the kind of player you would really love to have on your team and would be really hard to play against, because she presses that back line so hard and she forces her way into situations in the attacking sense, and she just creates opportunities for her teammates, and she's a great leader. So she's been really fun to watch, and if good things are going to happen for the Houston Dash, a lot of it has to come through her. She's the star here, and with the help of Christy Mewis, with the help of Shea Groom, that team could pull a little upset here. But it'll be interesting because Chicago Red Stars also like to play a bit more of a defensive style, and up until the semifinal, they had kind of struggled when they had more of the ball. They seemed a little more comfortable defending as well and maybe hitting on the counter. I don't think Houston will want the ball at all. Even if Chicago tried to give it to them, they would probably just give it right back. So if Chicago Red Stars do have it this whole time, can they create the offense? That becomes the question. They did a good job of it against Sky Blue. They scored 2 goals in the first 12 minutes of that game, I think, in quick succession, and their offense seemed to be clicking a bit. And it looked like they actually had that game sealed off as well, but in the second half, Sky Blue came back a little bit. But the Sky Blue back line is not quite as tight as Houston Dash's has been, so I'm curious to see if Chicago Red Stars will be able to create a lot. I don't know that they will, but it's going to be a tense game. It's going to be a close matchup, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great final. And then the NWSL this week, there was more news as well with the announcement of Angel City, a new team in Los Angeles, expansion team. So them combined with the previous announcement of Racing Louisville a couple weeks back, both have been announced over the course of the Challenge Cup. That brings the NWSL up to 11 teams. And I think expansion can only be a good thing here. LA has a crazy ownership group. We're talking about the likes of former U.S. stars, Mia Hamm, Abby Wambach, Julie Foudy. We're talking about celebrities as well. Ava Longoria, Uzo Aduba. Even Serena Williams is in on it. And her daughter Olympia is actually officially an owner as well. The 2-year-old is part of the ownership group. But there's a lot of influence, a lot of money behind this launch of the new team in LA. And I think this could be a great thing for the NWSL. This could help take the brand more global. Hopefully it can draw more international stars to the league, because obviously they hold the best American players. They kind of always have. But this could be an opportunity for more kind of international, for this to be a destination team for players. And my hope is that Angel City will just splash the cash. They've got the ownership group behind it. Seems like they have the investment. Go get some of the best players in the world, bring them to the States, and let this become this forefront of women's soccer. I think that could be really good for the NWSL, because right now it's still dominated by Lyon. It's still at times dominated by some of the teams in England. I mean, look at Manchester City. They actually just signed Sam Mewis from North Carolina Courage, and supposedly are in talks with Rose Lavelle as well. So there's still that draw going the other way to Europe. And if LAFC can become a really big point for international players to want to come into the U.S., that could be fantastic for the NWSL. But yeah, you're not going to want to miss that game. But there is more on the day on Sunday as well. It's the final day of the Premier League. I've been watching very closely, as I'm sure a lot of you have as well. It's really all coming down to this. We haven't seen a final day of the Premier League this tight in several years, and it's really exciting for it to all be on the line at one time. So Liverpool already won. We saw them lift the trophy the other night against Chelsea. You know, round of applause, congratulations. But there's still a lot to play for. Top 4 is going to get really interesting, those Champions League qualification spots. It's down to Manchester United, Chelsea, and Leicester City. And basically, there's a few different scenarios of how this could work out, but the matchups are what make this the best, because Manchester United and Leicester play each other. So it's basically winner gets a Champions League spot in that game. And Chelsea are playing Wolves, who are currently in 6th, and they're trying to hold off Tottenham for that Europa League qualification spot. So there is so much on the line for all 4 of those teams in the 2 sets of games there. And we haven't really seen that level of competition where the games mean so much to both teams. And it feels like there's been times during the restart where these games feel like they don't mean a lot. They're a little slow and sluggish, and you feel like some of the players might be lacking motivation. It's all do or die come down here in the final week. So it will get really interesting. As I said, the scenario, at least for United and Leicester, is pretty simple. Whoever wins that game, if there's a winner, they'll get in. For Chelsea, it's even simpler. A win or a draw guarantees them Champions League. And then the scenarios could get a little tricky if United and Leicester draw. It will depend on that Chelsea result in terms of goal difference, and then it gets a little more complicated. But for every single team in that 3-team race for the top 4 spots, it's win and you're in, which is super exciting. And then for Wolves, it's also, if they can win hold off Tottenham, they'll keep that European spot as well. So then as we head to the bottom of the table, it's also very interesting down there. Arsenal played their part by losing to Aston Villa midweek, and it set up a 3-team race for the final spot to not get relegated as well. So 2 out of Aston Villa, Watford, and Bournemouth are going to go down. Right now, Bournemouth definitely have the most ground to recover because they would actually need to win against Everton and then have both Villa and Watford lose. But that's not completely out of the scenarios here because Watford play Arsenal. I mean, who knows what Arsenal will show up in that game, but I think they'd be favorites either way. And then Villa plays West Ham. West Ham are now safe, so you'd expect Villa to win that game because it means a little more to them, but you just never know. West Ham's been pretty good recently, so it's going to be really interesting how that comes down to as well. And most likely goal difference is going to come into play because if Watford and Villa get the same result, if they both win or if they both draw, it will come down to goal difference as to which one of them will get relegated and which won't. So in a scenario in which maybe they're both losing or they're both winning, they will have to play until the 90th minute to try to ensure they can get that extra goal, or if they're losing, to not concede that extra goal, and it will get really tight. It's even tighter than the games at the top where it's win and you're in, because for them it's win and you're in, but you also might need to win by a certain amount of goals because they're even on goal difference right now. So really, really wild scenarios and very exciting. And it's going to be interesting to see who goes down. We know from the championship that Leeds and West Brom have secured automatic promotion, so they'll be in the Premier League next year. Huge accomplishment for Leeds as they had a really sad financial downturn earlier in the 2000s, and that sent them down, and they're finally coming back up. Bielsa has been an awesome manager for them, and if you haven't seen them play, they are a really, really unique team, and Bielsa is kind of the guy who really got this whole wave of pressing started. A lot of different coaches have taken tactics from him, and it'll be really cool to see them in the Premier League back next year. They're a traditional Premier League team, and Arsenal have some beef with them, Man United have some beef with them. They're a pretty hated team across the league, so they bring that extra little bit of flavor and bit of rivalry to the Prem. I'm excited to have them back. Don't really care about West Brom that much, but, they're up. And then beyond just the results, there's a few individual things up for grabs on the final day of the Premier League as well. So Kevin De Bruyne is looking at the assist record. He's 1 off of Thierry Henry right now. He's level with Fabregas and Ozil. So obviously as an Arsenal fan, this one means a lot to me. He's even with Ozil right now. He's chasing Henry. Of course, we all have love for Fabregas as well. I don't want to see De Bruyne get an assist, but if we're being honest, chances are pretty high. City is playing Norwich, so yeah. And I think Kevin De Bruyne might be having his eye on making the extra pass in that game, assuming City will be having a lot of chances there. And speaking of De Bruyne, let's talk about this for a second. Jordan Henderson won PFA Player of the Year. All the people who have watched the Premier League this season and covered it as journalists decided that the best player in the Premier League was Jordan Henderson. I'll let the rain pitter-patter a little bit here. I don't know if you can hear it. To really just add some emphasis to that. Jordan Henderson. What have they been watching? Jordan Henderson, I was thinking about it, he might be the single most replaceable player in Liverpool's starting 11. Because everybody on that back line is unique and special and the best at what they do. Salah and Mane, unbelievable goal scorers. Firmino, very unique and, in my opinion, irreplaceable in their front three. Jordan Henderson is the player of the year. That one just doesn't quite sit right with me. I mean, I think De Bruyne has a much better claim to it than Henderson does. He's at over 30 goal contributions this season, and he's just been outrageously good. And even if you're going to pick a Liverpool player, how do you pick Jordan Henderson out of that lineup? I think Trent is more deserving. I think Van Dijk is more deserving. I think Mane and Salah are both more deserving. They're all better players than Jordan Henderson. I just don't really understand how you're going to pick him. It's the the English media, man, they get so much wrong. And I don't even know why we put so much emphasis on that, because obviously it's going to be something stupid if the English media are required to pick this award, but still frustrating nonetheless. But anyway, those are all the things we can look forward to on Sunday. I'm actually gassed because this is a huge day of soccer, and in terms of one-day interest, this is the most we're going to get for quite a while on the soccer scene. So, you know, lots to look forward to. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope that this can kind of get you set and get you prepared for Sunday and all the things that we have to come. Be sure to watch all those Premier League games. I'll be tweeting along. Again, follow me on Twitter, and you know, we can always interact on there, and it'll be a good time. And be sure to watch the NWSL final. They set records for women's soccer in the opener of this tournament, and the final should do even bigger numbers. And this is, again, something I said it in the last NWSL video I did. This is going to show the networks that people want to watch this. If you've been watching and enjoying my NWSL content, I have been watching these games and really enjoying them. People want to see it. You got to tune in on Sunday, and you don't even need CBS All Access. It'll be on CBS proper. Go watch it and show them that there is an appetite for this game. I know that the Premier League games cut into it a little bit, but tune in as soon as it's over, or do 2 screens at once like I'll be doing. It's important. So, yes, excited for Sunday. Thank you for watching the video. Shout out again to Haley for the new updated content, the new look, the new little things, you know, the little thing in the corner. I think it's like right here, and all that good stuff. I'm so excited about where this channel is heading. Keep those post notifications on. Like the video. There's so much more to come. I've already got a few more videos planned to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, and I'm really excited about them. So thanks for the support. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.